It's still unclear when these tests will be available, how to get them, whether any more are on their way. But it's especially frustrating that the White House press secretary had previously mocked the very idea of doing what the president later announced. In a sarcastic and withering tone, when this was first proposed, she had 4 questions. Whether we should just send one to every American, then what happens, how much does it cost, what happens after that? Those are all good questions that remain unanswered by the administration. My final example, though there are many to choose from, happened last week too. The White House press secretary, a repeat offender in poor communications, was asked about boosters. The press secretary said, and I quote, "They can get boosted now regardless of what CDC guidance is, whether you're just approved or for a booster or you've been approved for weeks," end quote. Regardless of what CDC guidance is. From the White House podium. And then I was amazed when I got home on Sunday and I had this letter from the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services telling me as a Medicare beneficiary that I'm eligible to get a free vaccine booster. 5 months after the president announced we're going to have boosters, this is the first communication from CMS that I've gotten as a Medicare beneficiary in the 2 years of COVID. And all of a sudden I get a request to get boosted. When a Republican governor or a senator, including some on this committee, suggests concerns about CDC guidance, Twitter and MSNBC can't react fast enough with scorn and anger. So it can't come as a surprise that there is confusion and anger when the White House says to ignore CDC guidance. I tell my staff, as I've repeatedly said to you in all previous hearings, to look 30, 60, 90 days ahead. Look 6 months ahead. Look abroad. See what's happening in Asia, Europe, Israel, Africa, UK, and elsewhere around the world. What do we need to anticipate? At our hearing on July 20th, I warned that Delta would not be our last variant. And I pleaded with each of you to have a plan in place for the next mutation of the virus. So why was the Vice President surprised that Omicron came to our shores? Well, I'll say it's very clearly, so the administration does not, yet again, say they're surprised. Viruses change, viruses mutate. There will be more variants. They will come to America, period, end of sentence. I don't understand why after tens of billions of federal dollars being appropriated, this administration has failed to ensure that the Americans have the tests they need. I don't understand why suddenly it's okay to take into account the economic and job impact of your guidance and recommendations. You shortened quarantine guidance because too many people would be out of work. Was that because of science, or was it because you now know that lockdowns, shutdowns, and school closures come with a significant downside impact? You asked the American people to trust you. Quite frankly, you've lost their trust. Rather than attempting to gain their trust back, the administration chooses to litigate mandate requirements for employers with over 100 employees. I've asked before, what's the plan? Never gotten a response. Very seldom do I get a letter responded to by this administration. The administration's not responded to my letters. Maybe folks at the White House don't think they need to respond to Republican senators. I think my record shows I'm approaching all of this as I have for the last 20 years. I'm trying to help. I love this country, love its people, and I know we can do better than we've done. I know we have to do better. Maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe you'll tell me where I got it wrong. Instead, I'm hoping that you'll understand that my criticism comes from a place of concern, because the communication efforts are a mess and have only made things worse. Now, I admit it. I'm at the end of my rope. I think you'll see today that most of my colleagues are as well. I've tried to give my best advice and share what we hear and what we see, because no one's paying attention to the message from this administration right now. Maybe today you respond to my request to learn what the plan is. Hopefully you'll take this challenge to rebuild the trust, not just with me, not just with my colleagues, but with the American people we all serve. What are you changing and fixing to restore the confidence with the American people that there is a strategy for testing, for treatments, for fixing your communication strategy. Because if you don't, things are going to get worse before they get better. Madam Chairman, I yield.